The first thing Amara noticed about him was not the silence. It was the stillness. He sat by the window as though time had forgotten him there, hands resting loosely on his lap, eyes fixed somewhere far beyond the hospital walls, not restless, not broken in any obvious way, just absent, like a man who had quietly stepped out of himself and never returned. His file was thin. Daniel, 34, no speech in 7 months. Trauma-induced mutism. 7 months. Amara closed the file and studied him again. People always assumed silence was empty. In her experience, it was the opposite. Silence was crowded with fear, with memory, with things too heavy to be spoken. She pulled a chair and sat across him. "Good morning, Daniel." Nothing. Not even a blink in her direction. The first few sessions were like speaking into a void. She tried everything she had been trained to do. Articulation drills, visual prompts, breathing techniques. Her voice filled the room gently, persistently, like water tapping against stone. "Can you say your name?" Silence. Just one word. Silence. Anything at all. But Daniel remained unreachable. He didn't resist her. He didn't cooperate either. He simply existed, untouched by her efforts. It wasn't defiance. That would have been easier. One afternoon she made a mistake. "What happened to you?" The question slipped out softer than she intended, but it landed heavily between them. For the first time, Daniel reacted. His fingers curled tightly into his palms. His breathing changed, shallow, uneven. His eyes flickered, not toward her, but inward. And in that brief crack in his stillness, something flashed. A road. Rain against glass. Laughter cut short. Metal folding into itself with a violent scream. Then it was gone. But so was he. Whatever fragile thread had connected him to the room snapped completely. He stood up abruptly and moved away, retreating back into that unreachable place inside himself. Amara didn't try to stop him. She had just learned something important. His silence wasn't emptiness. It was protection. The next day, she came in without her usual tools. No flashcards, no diagrams, no structured exercises, just a notebook and a pen. She sat across him again. As always, he didn't look at her. For a moment, she hesitated. Then she wrote something down, tore out the page, and slid it gently across the space between them. "You don't have to speak." Daniel's eyes moved just slightly. It was the smallest shift, but she saw it. He looked at the paper for a long time, as though the words themselves were unfamiliar. Then, slowly, carefully, he reached for the pen. Amara held her breath without realizing it. He wrote one word. "Good." That was how it began. Not with sound, but with ink. The sessions changed after that. Words no longer hung uselessly in the air. They lived on paper now. Messy, hesitant, sometimes incomplete, but real. "Do you sleep?" she wrote once. "Sometimes," he replied. "Do you remember?" Long pause, then too much. He started drawing too. At first, it was abstract. Lines that didn't seem to form anything, but gradually, shapes emerged. A road, a car, a figure that appeared again and again, faceless, unfinished. Amara never pushed him to explain. She didn't need to. Some stories didn't want to be told aloud. Days turned into something softer, easier. They began to understand each other in ways that had nothing to do with speech. She learned the meaning of the slight tilt of his head, the way his fingers tapped when he was anxious, the almost invisible relaxation in his shoulders when he felt safe. He learned her rhythms too, the way she bit her pen when she was thinking, the way her handwriting slanted when she was tired, the way she sometimes smiled before she realized she was doing it. One day, she wrote, "I talk too much when I'm nervous." He read it, then looked at her, really looked at her. For the first time, a flicker of something passed through his eyes. He wrote back, "You don't have to." Amara smiled. And something in his expression shifted, almost imperceptibly in his response. Eventually, they stopped writing so much, not because there was nothing left to say, but because they no longer needed to say it. Silence had changed. It was no longer heavy. It was shared. The news came on a Thursday. "He's improving," the doctor said. "We're discharging him next week." Amara nodded. Of course, he was improving. She had seen it, piece by piece. Still, something about the finality of it unsettled her. She told herself it was professional concern. It wasn't. The last session arrived quietly. Like everything else between them, Amara sat down, Notebook in hand, but didn't write immediately. Daniel was already looking at her. That in itself was new. She swallowed, then wrote, "You're ready." He didn't take the pen, didn't look at the paper, just kept his eyes on her. The silence stretched, not awkward, not tense, just full. Amara stood slowly, gathering her things. "This is good," she said softly, though she knew he might never respond. She turned to the door and then, "Don't go." The words were fragile, uneven, like something long buried, forcing its way to the surface. Amara froze. For a moment, she wasn't sure she had heard it. Then she turned. Daniel was staring at her, his expression raw, unguarded, in a way she had never seen before. Speaking seemed to cost him something, but he tried again. He faltered, breath catching. "I found my voice." A pause. His eyes didn't leave hers. "With you," he said finally. The room felt silence once more, but this time, it wasn't the same silence as before. This one wasn't hiding anything. It wasn't revealing everything. Amara walked back to him slowly. No notebook, no pen, no need for them anymore. She sat down, and when their hands finally met, tentative, certain, it felt like the most complete sentence either of them had ever spoken.